Part 2 is going to be kind of like a geometry review. So we're going to be finding arc length, or based on this, we're going to find the radians, or we might have to solve and find the radius. And remember, I am providing these to you. Don't feel like you have to memorize these. I'm going to print these on a test and quiz for you. All right, so here's how we use these. Example 3, if you could go ahead and write that down, we're going to find the arc length. Now remember, the big takeaway is that the theta, the central angle in a circle, it has to be in radians. So when you see that subscript of rads, that just is a reminder that it needs to be in radians, not in degrees. So we're going to find the arc length if theta in radians is pi over 4. And the radius is 5. So if you notice up here, we're trying to find the arc length. That's the letter S. We're just going to multiply these together. And then we're going to go ahead and enter it in with the pi symbol here just to get like a rounded answer. So here we go. So the arc length is going to equal the radius, which is 5, times the measure of the central angle in radians, which is pi over 4. And we're just going to multiply straight across. So the length of this sector is 5 pi over 4, and that is the length, and this is exact form. And I guess we could also call it calculator ready, because all we need to do is do 5 times pi and then divide it by 4. So 5 times pi, here's the pi key over here on this side of the calculator. Enter, divide by 4. There we go. We're going to say it's approximately 3.93. And remember, that's rounded. So that's how we use that formula. Now, let's go ahead and find the angle measure if the arc length is 9 and the radius is 5. So if I'm looking for the angle measure, I'm just going to use the same formula. Just plug in what I know and then solve for what I don't know. I know the letter S is 9. And remember, it is going to equal the radius, which is 5, times the angle measure in radians. So if you notice, all I need to do is divide both sides by 5. And then I have my angle measure in radians. 9 pi over 5. So that's how we use that in radian form. Okay, so that is part 2. And let's look at one more before we do our little self-check. Pretty short lesson today. Please copy this down. This is about area sector. And it says find the area of the sector of the angle that is 7 pi over 8. So the angle measure, the central angle measure, is 7 pi over 8, and the radius is 3 centimeters. So we're going to find the area of the sector created. So we are going to use this formula right here. Let's just recopy this so I can get rid of this piece of paper. So area equals 1/2 radius squared times the central angle, and remember one more time, the central angle has to be measured in radians. Okay, so to find that, area is going to equal 1/2. Remember, the radius is 3. We're going to have to square that. And we do have the area of the, we do have the angle measure at 7 pi over 8. We're just going to multiply everything straight across, but I'm going to go ahead and square this 3 first. So this is going to be 1 over 2 times 9 times 7 pi over 8. And I can even put this 9 over 1. That way I can very clearly see that I need to multiply all of the numerators together and all of the denominators together. So 1 times 9 times 7 pi, that's going to be 63 pi. And 2 times 1 times 8, that's 16. And I was given a measure here, so let's go ahead and write this is 63 pi. Well, hold on. Let's see if this fraction can simplify. So I'm just going to type 63 divided by 16 and hit enter. So it gives me a decimal. Remember, I can hit the second PRB. And 16 times 3 plus 15 would take me back to this. See how the denominator is the same? If the denominator is the same, then it's not going to be simplifiable. So this is our exact form. Let's go ahead and write centimeters squared. And just a reminder, that is exact form. Let's go ahead and type this fraction with the pi key and round to get a estimate of the area. So 63 times pi, and then let's divide that by 16. And if you notice, you're going to get 12.37, and that's a nice rounded number. Remember, we did not have rounding instructions on this problem, so it's going to be 12.37 centimeters squared. All right, so for your self-check, you're going to show me this. Please keep this in your notes. Now listen, you don't have to write everything down verbatim just like this, but please answer all 4 of these. Just go ahead and pause it, and please show me when you are done. And that's it.